Hey, day 14, the day after Christmas. I'm really struggling here. I do not know how to edit, and so I'm doing these one takes, which is kind of good for the practice to talk. But unfortunately, I'm just a talking head and it looks pretty boring. I also have snake eyes when I stare at the fucking camera. Again, sorry, but this is all part of the fucking learning process. The other thing is I've done so many takes that I can't remember if I said it in the last video or if I said it this one, so I'm repeating myself, and that's making these last twice as long. So I'm gonna look on this little card and kind of talk about this. The important thing is, I think, in family, so I'm just gonna express what's going on in my life. I have a niece whose mom is in the hospital with COVID-related pneumonia, and she was doing real bad. She went into cardiac arrest, I think, day or two before Christmas Eve. So then the day before Christmas Eve, or maybe even Christmas Eve, she started to rally and get a lot better. But then toward the end of the day, they found high levels of CO2 in her blood. She really started to struggle, so they had to put her back on a ventilator. And then I think it was Christmas Eve day, they called my niece up and said, will you authorize a tracheotomy, because that would be less obtrusive, but it is a procedure. And she said, yes, I would. So they gave her a tracheotomy, so now they can suck the pus and all of the mucus out of her lung that way, but she can still have more easier on her throat. She can talk, I guess, and communicate better. My niece, I called her, yesterday was Christmas. I called her on Christmas. I didn't call her, but I texted her on Christmas and I said, love you, just thinking of you, still praying, just to let her know that everybody still cares about her, and so she's not alone. And her mom's not alone. Well, she texted me back. She said, thank you. Yes, I will have a good day and hope you have a good Christmas too. She didn't talk about her mom, but no news is good news, in this situation. And these things take time. I texted her again saying, thinking of you, still praying, not giving up, hang in there. I didn't say not giving up, but we're still praying, anyway, and she didn't answer me. But again, no news is good news, and she's got a lot on her plate. So that's what's been going on. I did do my yoga today. I did do my push-ups. That's what I'm doing with the Gary Vaynerchuk challenge, the push-ups. But I do yoga every day. I do cold showers every day. And so I want to do the push-ups for 55 days because I've been doing the cold showers for about 3 or 4 years now. And I do it pretty religiously. I might miss it one day, but I think I can do this for 55 days just to prove a fact. I'm 66 years old, but that's what I do. And I don't take the cold showers and all just because it's fun. I take the cold showers because I was having trouble 3 or 4 years ago with being so stiff that I wanted to give up. I couldn't survive anymore. And the doctor's response to it was, oh, we can give you shots and pills. It won't take away the arthritis. It'll mask it. You'll be on it for the rest of your life. There are side effects that are and all these different things. And I just decided to forget that. So I started going online and I started looking at diet, which did help. I started looking at sleep, which helped, but I work nights. And so it's hard to get my sleep, but that did help, watching sleep, watching diet. Then intermittent fasting was a life-changing thing. And then, believe it or not, coffee enemas, I heard was good, and that was really helpful. So all these things wasn't any silver bullet. It was little incremental steps that actually improved my life. But one of the biggest things, I kept looking and looking and looking, it said cold shower or ice therapy or walking or laying in the snow. And my initial response was, fuck that. But over time, you get so tired of working all day and then starting to feel normal toward the end of the day. Then the next morning start all over again, like Groundhog's Day. So that you finally decide, I keep getting this same thing over and over. Let's just try it. And so I did. I tried cold showers. The first day I did it was difficult. But I just did it. And then after that, you just start doing it, and you just start breathing. And so every day I do a cold shower, and now I'm up to 5 minutes. And then every once in a while, in the winter especially, I'm still cold. You get cold to the bones. My hands get white, and I don't actually warm up. And that's something else I'm going to have to look at. Something that might make my blood a little thinner, drink more water, but get my circulation a little bit better. But anyway, so with that, once in a while I do take a 105 to 110 degree bath. And I usually use Epsom salts if I do that, or I'll take a real hot shower if I do find that I can't warm up. In the summertime, it's not that big a deal because you can warm up outside. But that's why I'm going through all this, and I'm just documenting this whole process, because if I can make my body better, if I can work with the yoga doesn't take the symptoms away either, and you do have to work through the pain. But over time, the pain gets to be manageable, and even then you start to be okay with it, and you still get your strength and you get your dexterity back. So the body can do amazing things if you treat it vigorously, and that's something that the Stoic Seneca, I think, said. And if it's not Seneca, it'd be Marcus Aurelius or one of those others. But I think it was Seneca said that you need to treat the body vigorously, because I follow Ryan Holiday, who does the Daily Stoic, and who's giving me encouragement to keep going are people like Jocko Willink, who says extreme ownership, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. I did buy Arnold Schwarzenegger's book a few years ago, the actual hard copy, because most everything I have is on audiobook because I have a subscription. But I bought Arnold's book, but I never read it. It's the one book that I have that I've had for a while and I haven't read. I am dyslexic, but that was no excuse. So I broke into it today or yesterday or the day before, and I'm up to chapter 5 because I just sat there for 6 hours and looked at it. I couldn't sleep. So all of these influencers are helpful. And Jim Kwik, I've always been a very poor speller, and I'm not reading very well. I didn't know I was dyslexic, and I learned to actually read and learn to learn when I was in my late 30s, early 40s, after my first divorce, and then I started to improve. But I still read really slow, and it's really difficult. So I got Jim Kwik's book because he says that there are ways to learn. He really struggled, and so I'm using his book to get better, and it's on Audible. But I think I'm going to buy his actual hard copy book, and then I'm going to buy his workbook. So then I'll have something, because knowledge isn't power, he says, and I believe him. It says applied knowledge is power. Knowledge put to practice is power. And practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes progress. And practice makes permanent something that you don't know. So all of these people are helping me along, and I'm here just documenting the journey, showing everyone that, yeah, if you put in the hours and the work, you can improve your body and you can improve your mind. Because Tom Bilyeu said he did it, and Jim Kwik said he did it, and I'm not trusting them, I'm testing them. And I'm not saying, oh, yeah, I tried for 5 minutes and now it's not good. No, I'm really, really diligently trying, and I am seeing success. So through these guys, I've heard, and I think maybe Jocko Willink and Tom, but they've all said it. They've said that hard choices, easy life. Easy choices, hard life. And so if you really want to get something done, you have to do what Arnold Schwarzenegger says, steps. Reps and steps, or steps and reps. I can't remember. I haven't read that part of the book yet, but I know somebody was talking to me about it. But just, you do things by little incremental steps. And so when I started this 55-day push-up challenge, I told myself that first day that I was going to document this on YouTube, and I was going to try to make 2 videos a day, and that I lowered my expectation. So my main point in this whole thing was to just do 1 push-up. That was my goal, 1 push-up. I lowered my expectation. So I got over there, I got in the stance and I did more than one push-up. And I started to earn credibility with myself. And that's what really made a difference. It really makes a difference. You start seeing little incremental steps and then you don't want to give up. So 2021 was a tough year for a lot of people, a tough year for me. And Brendan Birch, he is someone else I follow. He said, you know, what are you grateful for? Little things like that. And I had to sit there and look and think this was a trying year for me. And I made a lot of mistakes. But I found out that those mistakes didn't happen to me. I caused them. But they also happened for me. It was an opportunity for me to grow. Jim Quick says, that which you avoid, if you pursue it or go through it, that is usually the catalyst for you to find a better life, a new life. It's like what, I'm fucking up the quote, but it's Henry Ford said it best. He said, when the wind is blowing you and it just seems like the world's against you, just remember that's the same wind that picks the plane up when it's starting to fly. So look at these challenges. There's a book out, I saw an influencer, it's called Storytelling, and I haven't read it yet, but I want to get it. They talk to this famous producer and they say, you know, we'd like to follow you around and then find out your backstory and make a movie of your life. He said, okay. So they started doing that, and he started really looking at it, and he had to take a large look at his life. And it's like, he really didn't do that much. He didn't really accomplish that much. He kind of started out at a certain level and really didn't go too high. And then he started really examining stories and things, and he thought maybe God, your own psychic, maybe the universe, the divine, they give you these hard choices, because the really good stories start with the people who start poor and in terrible conditions and really, really work hard to do really fantastic, good, wonderful things for themselves and humanity. And maybe when we get shit on, or we get these things happen to us, instead of, you know, like me, instead of me thinking, oh my God, the world's going to, I sit there, maybe this is the universe giving me an opportunity to tell a really good story. It kind of changed my life. So I've been trying to wake up and trying to make sense of these things and finding out, looking at the positive. A few days ago, I have a second little car, a little Saturn, that I had to pull out on the street because they did work in my house. And that car always starts, and it's never left me high and dry. And it was started the weekend, and I pulled it out, and then later that day, after they all left, I walked out and I couldn't start it. I mean, it would turn over, the battery was good, the starter was good, but it would not start. And it always starts. You just turn a little bit and it starts. Well, it wouldn't start. It was like it didn't have any gas or didn't have any, I couldn't figure it out. But it was starting to snow, and the snow plows are coming through. So I didn't know what to do. I started to panic. I hadn't slept that whole day because I worked the night before. So I had to call a buddy up, and I called him up, and he said, don't worry about it. It's probably a little bit of snow. They probably not come. So the next morning, I couldn't really sleep well. The next morning, I got up, and I shoveled that lane of the road all the way down my street. I videotaped it. You can look back. And I even showed me out there doing it in time lapse. But anyway, I shoveled all the way out there. Oh no, I didn't shovel that. I shoveled in my underwear, not in my underwear, but in my swimming trunks, because I do cold therapy. So I did do that. That's one you can look at. That's time lapsed. But anyway, so I shoveled all the way down on one side of the street, and the neighbors across from me thought I was crazy. Why is he shoveling on the street? And then as I came back up, I shoveled this one neighbor's driveway, and then I shoveled my next neighbor's driveway because they were gone. And then I did mine. And they all thanked me for that later. But later on that day, I tried a couple more times, and I was thinking about calling a tow truck. But eventually I went out, turned the key, and the thing started. Just getting on dark. It's like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and it gets dark about that time here in wintertime. So I backed it up in the driveway, and it sat there, and then I tried a couple times, and of course it was starting. Well, one day I tried it again, and it wouldn't start. So I checked it, and I was getting fuel, I was getting electricity, and that's what you need. And so I couldn't really figure it out. So a buddy of mine said, again, I used to be a mechanic, but it's been a while. So a buddy of mine said, well, take it to O'Reilly and put a little sensor on it. So I did that today. I took it to O'Reilly and put a sensor on it. And again, I don't know what's going on. And usually in my head, I hear, oh, this is terrible. Why does this have to happen? But then I just stopped for a second and said, calm down. Calm down. This didn't happen on work day. It happened on the weekend. And it was pulled out in the street, and it wasn't enough snow for the snow trucks to come. And by the time the next day when the snow trucks did come, I had the car up the street. And I also just didn't sit back and say, oh, I can't do anything. No, I shoveled the whole street down, and I shoveled my neighbors' driveways because, you know, it was a nice thing to do. I was busy, and I thought maybe if I needed to ask one of my neighbors, they might be able to turn the key for me while I could check my car if I had to check it out there. But the car started. So anyway, I got a chance to do all that. I went to AutoZone, and we did find a few codes kind of on the pressure regulator side of the fuel system. So I did replace the pressure regulator. $56. It took me about 45 minutes. But actually it took me about an hour and a half probably because it's really cold and it's fiddly and I didn't know and I didn't want to break anything, so I kind of took my time, but I got it done. I got it done. And it would have been a lot cooler to show you all this. I did buy a GoPro, and my phone here is an old phone. I don't think it does 4K, but that's eventually what I want to do when I learn how to edit. And I've done this video several times because I forgot part of my story to finish it, and I looked back and said, oh, I didn't finish that point. And then also, the last two videos, I kept repeating myself. I repeated myself, oh, I did this and this and this. So anyway, that's where I'm at. And but you're seeing the process. You're seeing the fuck-ups. You're seeing the mess. I'm just trying to show you that just be yourself and try to do your best. And show your ass. It's okay. I mean, I'm not you. I'm going to show my ass. I'm going to show my ass. I'm going to show you how bad I am. I'm going to show you how failure, and you can see that I can improve. I mean, I don't think anybody's videos are as bad as these. I really don't. So anyway, that's what I'm going to. This is my 14th day, second video, because that's what I promised, and then I'm going to try to get my GoPro and learn this in my 17 minutes. Jesus Christ. Nobody's ever going to watch this shit. Okay, well, Bob out. Bye.